Picture this: in a single day, your life's work vanishes. The business you poured your heart into collapses. The market crashes and takes all your savings with it. For most people, this is a code red, DEFCON 1, end of the world scenario. A tidal wave of panic washes over you, your heart is pounding, and every single decision you make in the next 48 hours is driven by pure, unfiltered fear. You start selling assets at rock-bottom prices, hiding from creditors, desperately trying to stop the bleeding, but you're only making it worse. But for the wealthy, this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a protocol. They have a 48-hour rule they deploy the second disaster strikes, and it's the reason they don't just survive financial catastrophes. They often find incredible opportunities in the ruins. And today, I'm going to walk you through that exact protocol, panic versus. Protocol: when a massive financial shock hits, the average person enters what I call panic paralysis. It's a toxic cocktail of fear, shame, and regret. You're glued to the news, watching your net worth plummet, and your brain's survival instinct kicks into overdrive. That instinct screams, do something. Anything, so you sell your stocks when the market is at its absolute lowest. You liquidate assets you should have held on to. And you make frantic moves that can turn a $10,000 problem into a $50,000 disaster in just a few days. Shame is a powerful paralytic. It makes people want to retreat and hide. They stop answering the phone. They avoid looking at their bank statements. They let the problem fester in the dark, just hoping it will magically disappear. The wealthy, on the other hand, understand a critical distinction: the difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is a temporary condition. It's just a number on a spreadsheet. Being poor is a permanent mindset. It's the belief that your situation is hopeless and that you're a victim. Your money can disappear overnight, but your knowledge, your skills, and your systems don't. And because they know this, they don't panic. They initiate a protocol. The 48-hour rule isn't about being emotionless. It's about preventing your emotions from making catastrophic financial decisions. It's a deliberate, strategic pause designed to let the emotional storm blow over so your logical mind can take the wheel. The first 24 hours, lockdown and assessment. The first 24 hours are the most critical. While most people are frantically making moves, the wealthy go into a strict lockdown. This phase has two simple but completely non-negotiable steps. Step 1 is absolute stillness. For 24 hours, you do absolutely nothing. You don't sell a single stock. You don't fire a single employee. You don't make any sudden moves. This isn't denial, it's disciplined inaction. The goal is to create an emotional quarantine. You have to give your brain time to process the shock and move past that initial fight or flight response. It's okay to be angry, scared, or frustrated, but you cannot let those feelings touch your money. Acknowledge the emotion, then deliberately set it aside to focus on the facts. Step 2 is damage assessment. This is where you do the exact opposite of what most people do. Instead of hiding from the numbers, you run towards them. The wealthy immediately get on the phone with their counsel, their accountant, their financial advisor, their lawyer. They don't say, I think I might be in trouble. They say, walk me through the entire balance sheet. I need to see every number, every asset, every liability. Give me the brutal, unflinching truth. The goal is to stop the bleeding by accurately diagnosing the wound. How much did you actually lose? Which assets are still secure? What is the real, objective financial picture right now? You can't make a plan to move forward until you know exactly where you're standing. While others are paralyzed by the fear of the unknown, the wealthy find power in confronting the known, no matter how ugly it is. The next 24 hours, strategy and opportunity. After the emotional storm has been weathered and the damage has been assessed, the next 24 hours are all about strategy. This is where the comeback begins, and it starts with 2 more steps. Step 3 is to secure your lifeline. Before you can even think about rebuilding an empire, you have to make sure the lights stay on. The first strategic move is to confirm, with 100% certainty, that you have enough cash or liquid assets to cover 12 to 18 months of your core living expenses. This is your psychological safety net. It removes that primal, gut-wrenching fear of I'm going to be homeless or I can't feed my family. Once that basic survival is secured, your mind is freed from short-term panic and can start focusing on long-term strategy. This might mean identifying which non-essential luxury assets, like a vacation home or an expensive car with high carrying costs, need to be sold. Step 4 is the part that truly separates the rich from everyone else, the opportunity scan. While the rest of the world sees only disaster, the wealthy immediately start scanning the wreckage for opportunity. They ask a totally different set of questions. They don't ask, "What have I lost?" They ask, "What does this setback now make possible?" Financial expert Andrew Loknoth notes that setbacks can create leverage. Now is the time to renegotiate everything: loan terms with banks, contracts with service providers, and deals with partners. They also see a market crash not as a crisis, but as a fire sale. They start hunting for distressed assets, great companies or properties that are suddenly available at a massive discount because everyone else is panicking. This is how fortunes are made. They start playing offense while everyone else is stuck on defense. Think about some of the most successful entrepreneurs. Walt Disney's first animation studio, Laugh-O-Gram, went bankrupt. Steve Jobs was famously fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. For them, failure wasn't a fatal blow, it was a redirection. It was feedback. They used the setback as a springboard to learn, pivot, and ultimately come back stronger. If you're getting value from this breakdown of how the wealthy turn crisis into opportunity, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about giving you the mindset and strategies to build a financially resilient life, and I'd love for you to be part of this community. Beyond the 48 hours, the rebound blueprint, the 48-hour rule, is the immediate emergency response. The real work of rebuilding comes next, and the strategy is often counterintuitive. First, they double down on what's working. Most people try to salvage every single losing investment, pouring good money after bad out of emotional attachment. The wealthy are ruthless about cutting their losses. They identify the assets in their portfolio that are still strong or have the best potential for growth, and they shift their capital there. They don't waste time trying to save the sinking ships, they reinforce the battleships. Second, they invest in themselves. It sounds crazy, but financial advisors have seen wealthy individuals who just lost $1 million immediately turn around and spend $50,000 on executive coaching or joining a high-level mastermind group. They understand that the best investment they can possibly make is in their own knowledge and network. They treat the setback as an expensive but invaluable lesson, and they are determined to get a return on that tuition. Finally, they use debt strategically. They don't borrow money just to maintain a lifestyle. They borrow against their appreciating assets to free up cash, which allows them to seize investment opportunities without having to sell their core holdings at the worst possible time. For them, debt becomes a tool for offense, not just a mechanism for survival. The mindset that makes it all possible ultimately, this entire protocol is built on the foundation of a specific mindset. It's the fundamental difference in worldview that makes all of this work. First is ownership versus blame. The wealthy mindset says, "I create my life." The poor mindset says, "Life happens to me." When a setback hits, they take radical responsibility. They don't blame the market, the government, or bad luck. They analyze their own decisions that contributed to the failure, because if they caused it, they can also fix it. Second is opportunity focus versus obstacle focus. The average person sees a problem and all the risks surrounding it. The wealthy person sees that same problem and all the opportunities that come with it. As author T. Harv Eker says, they don't ask, "What if it doesn't work?" They say, "It'll work because I'll make it work." And third, they see failure as feedback, not finality. Most people take failure personally. It becomes a judgment on their self-worth. The wealthy see failure as data. Thomas Edison famously had over 1,000 failed experiments before creating a viable light bulb. He didn't see them as failures. He famously said he had just found ways that wouldn't work. Billionaires treat their mistakes not as fatal wounds, but as stepping stones. So, what is the 48-hour rule? It's a protocol designed for clarity in the middle of chaos. For the first 24 hours, lockdown, you find stillness and you perform a brutal, honest damage assessment. For the next 24 hours, strategy. You secure your lifeline and you immediately start scanning for opportunities. A financial loss, no matter how devastating, is an event. It is not your identity. The difference between those who stay down and those who bounce back isn't luck, it's having a protocol. It's knowing that your knowledge and your mindset are the only assets that can never truly be wiped out. The next time you face a setback, big or small, don't panic, don't hide, execute the protocol. Now I have a question for you. What is one small, micro goal you can set for yourself today to start building your own comeback, whether it's financial or otherwise? Share it in the comments below. Let's create a community of accountability. And if you're ready to move from defense to offense with your money, watch this next video on the assets the rich are buying to build lasting wealth. Thanks for watching.